Hello and welcome to Day and Night Prime Debate. WikiLeaks, the day the whistleblowing website began publishing more than 2.5 lakh cables from the United States embassies around the world, it started incurring the wrath of government establishments. On the other hand, these revelations were welcomed by the ones who wanted everything in the open. But the question that arises is that can national interests be jeopardized for the sake of getting true information, and where exactly do we draw the line? WikiLeaks has ushered in a new era of information gathering, but to what extent can this be justified given the secretive and diplomatic world we live in?
Confidential information in official cables of the United States Diplomatic Service is still spiraling out after the whistleblower website WikiLeaks placed over 250,000 documents in the public space last fortnight. Yesterday, the British police arrested the WikiLeaks founder and editor-in-chief Julian Assange in London on a European warrant for sexual assault in Sweden. Assange will surely be tried for breaking the law on official secrets in the US and elsewhere. As far as the leaks are concerned, they have significantly strained relations between nations already, particularly between the US and the world, and compromise the functioning of diplomats as well as their security. If you look at the flip side from the standpoint of a free information flow proponent, this is the biggest boon of the citizens and the media because it exposes political and diplomatic doublespeak besides unraveling espionage in the name of diplomacy and other indiscretions. The media arguably is the first beneficiary of the leaks and has been feasting on them with chutzpah and still drooling for more. But what is the priority of such substantial and sensitive information being placed in the public domain in the manner in which it has been done? And what is its impact on diplomacy? Particularly track to diplomacy, which is a critical cerebral exercise in building a consensus through the back channels to support resolution of contentious issues between nations. Also, how is this exposed changing the rules of engagement for the media and redefining journalism, if at all?
Is the WikiLeaks expose a boon or a bane? We try to find this out with our esteemed guest present in our studios, Mr. I.S. Chadha, former Secretary in the Ministry of External Affairs and a seasoned diplomat. Ms. Mohanmeet Khosla, Chairperson, School of Communication Studies, Punjab University, Chandigarh. Lieutenant General Harbhajan Singh, former Signal Officer-in-Chief, Indian Army. And Mr. Kabir Sareen, Advocate of the Punjab and Haryana High Court, Chandigarh. Welcome to the discussion. Mr. Chadha, if we consider a free flow of information, don't you think what WikiLeaks has done is quite a boon for the civil society and the media in particular?
Yes, certainly it has done a great service in as much as it has revealed information to which we were not privy earlier. But I think your anchor said in the initial remarks is the biggest boon. I think that's somewhat of an exaggeration. And here I would like to sound a note of caution. Before we jump to conclusions about the nature of US foreign policy or diplomacy from what is revealed in these cables, we have to bear in mind 2 points. Number one, these cables are situated in the past, ranging from 2007 to 2009.
That's right.
And secondly, they are the views, the analysis, the suggestions, if you like, of their diplomats, and do not necessarily therefore represent the current views of the government of United States. Okay. So this is a note of caution.
Right. Ms. Khosla, what is your opinion? What WikiLeaks has done, is it good for the civil society, the citizens and the media?
I would say yes and no. Because yes, we do have these cliches like participative governance, we have democracy, but we also, to be a society, we also have we've drawn certain lines. Otherwise, it will be a jungle raj. So I think there has been a certain blurring of lines, and regarding the media, I think this is another wake-up call.
Wake-up call? Why
It's
do you say
another
that?
wake-up call because we talk about accountability, we talk about responsibility, we talk about the values of journalism. I really don't think this fits into that definition.
Okay, we'll come to that a little later. General Harbhajan Singh, as a army person, having dealt with the security forces a major part of your life, what do you think is going to be the impact of WikiLeaks on the security of nations?
I would like to first comment on the usefulness of the leaks.
Yes.
You see, there is nothing absolute. There is the information within the family, there is information in a group, there is information in a government. Everything cannot be divulged and should not be divulged. There are confidential matters, there are secret matters, which should not be put on websites as has been done with WikiLeaks. It's, I think, a great disservice that this organization has done. As far as the security is concerned, taking WikiLeaks, it has firstly given out information about the operations in Iraq, certain aspects, and in Afghanistan. But this is old information. However, it does have impact on the functioning of the commanders, their decision making, on their morale of the troops and things like that.
But General Harbhajan Singh, it basically challenges some of the decisions of the governments, and we know very well that a lot of those decisions are not correct decisions. In fact, governments have themselves gone back on some of their decisions. For example, the United States later decided and almost owned up that they made a mistake as far as Iraq is concerned.
You see, decision making, when from a hindsight is different, but when, say, America has taken a decision, they have analyzed everything. There may have been some reasons which were not logical, but whatever it is a government decision at that point of time. By hindsight, it becomes very difficult to...
But I quite understand, General, what you're saying, but a lot of times I think we have to question the decisions of the governments. Now, I am reminded of, what Great Britain, when it launched the Gallipoli campaign. Now, the senior Murdoch had started challenging the campaign, and the Great Britain tried to silence him, but he would not get silenced. And finally, when he kept on at it, I think Great Britain had to terminate the campaign.
Well, Gallipoli was certainly a campaign where the troops suffered a lot of casualties. They were attacking fortified positions of the Turks. But there was a reason for it. There was a logic for attacking through Dardanelles at that time. It didn't come out successfully. If it had succeeded, then it would have been a very big military coup. So I think it's all circumstances. From hindsight becomes easy to comment on decisions.
Kabir, as a young person, the young always revel in, cyber technology. What is your take? I mean, what WikiLeaks has done is a good thing?
I would have to think and say that it's a very 50-50 which is happening. You see, we have assumed that since the information is confidential, it would per se be then something wrong. And there's absolutely and has to be an intent behind information being kept confidential. It is not for Julian Assange to decide whether or not it should be leaked. And by definition...
Well, Kabir, if the governments can decide which country to invade and how to invade, I'm sure a lot of that information should be in the public domain.
No doubt it should be. But when different governments, countries are at war, there's a reason and an intent again behind that. Things don't go as per plan, and strategies involved don't always work out.
Kabir, tell me, do you think WikiLeaks has violated some laws?
I most definitely think so. I feel that their sources very conveniently are termed as anonymous. And further, they themselves claim that they maintain absolutely no logs, that their methods are not to be divulged to anyone. So who is in a position to question them? Why can't this information, these anonymous information be doctored? Who is to judge whether or not it has been tampered with for a particular purpose? It can...
Well, there is no evidence as of now of the information having been tampered with.
No doubt, but there are examples like the information posted of the Afghan defectors. Now, in that information, they have in fact, by chance or by mistake, whatever has happened, given certain names, fathers' names of those persons and their villages, thereby signing a death warrant immediately for such people, knowing the extreme, sense of law that they have. I feel that it was not in his hands.
Can I make a comment here? You see, we have in India the Official Secrets Act. That act binds those who are governed by that act, like I am, even today. But it does not bind her. So if there is a journalist who, and I break that law by revealing information to that journalist which I should not have done, I am not sure that the journalist has broken any law. Maybe you are in a better position to comment on that, but the law has been broken by the person who was privy to this secret information and leaked
That's
that.
I beg to
interesting,
differ
interesting,
here, sir, if I
yes,
would just
Ms.
like,
Khosla.
Section 5 of the Official Secrets Act, that says that the person who has unauthorizedly leaked the information as well as the person who has unauthorizedly received it. So whether we are talking about journalists or we are talking about ordinary citizens like me, I'm just as liable for
We don't
collection.
like that section, Ms. Khosla.
We are all liable for
Mr.
collection.
Chadha, I want to, I'll just come back to General Harbhajan Singh. Mr. Chadha, I want to draw your attention to what well-known journalist and columnist and diplomat Kuldeep Nair has written in one of the newspapers. He said that WikiLeaks exposes political and diplomatic doublespeak of the United States, besides unraveling espionage in the name of diplomacy and other indiscretions. In fact, he says that the US says something in the face of various countries and does something else on their back.
Well, I
How would
will
you
make
comment on that?
two comments on that. Firstly, on this question of double speak. I think it is in the very nature of diplomacy that what you say in private to your host country or to whoever you are dealing with it is not necessarily the same as what you say in public. And in any case, what you say in secret cables between you and your channels of communication cannot and it's never been the same as what is in. So double speak is I think too sweeping a charge. Now about espionage and diplomacy, again I would say the dividing line is very thin. Right, it is correct that diplomats are not supposed to indulge in espionage. It's not their function. There are other professionals whose job it is. But we know that there are these spies or those who indulge in espionage need cover, and often countries provide cover by assigning them as diplomats. Now, we like it or not, that is a fact.
That is
of
a
life.
practice which is on for quite
It's a
some time.
fact of life.
Yes, Ms. Khosla, I also want to draw your attention to another write-up by Simon Jenkins of The Guardian. He said that the disclosure is messy and tests legal and moral boundaries. It is often irresponsible and very embarrassing. But it is all what is left when regulation does nothing. Politicians are cowed, lawyers fall silent, and audit is polluted. Accountability can only default to disclosure. Now, don't you think it sounds and rings very, very true and kind of justifies what WikiLeaks has done?
No, I think it sounds very pompous because accountability also means responsibility. And when we are talking about responsibility, for instance, when we talk about the military, in one sense they are accountable to the country. They are accountable to maintaining its peace and security. But that doesn't mean that, they also have to think twice. They have to justify that when we are targeting, let's say, largely civilian areas. You have the Geneva Convention, for instance. So even when we are talking about media or we are talking about any kind of disclosure, yes, there have to be certain rules, there have to be certain lines. You have to decide that, okay, if I'm going to be a whistleblower or if I'm going to disclose some information, what kind of specific damage is it doing and what kind of collateral damage that it is doing.
That I think only the time will tell.
I think it's already...
General
there.
Harbhajan Singh, whistleblowers must also play by the rules. What would you say to that?
I am firstly against whistleblowing. In this particular case, this is stolen information. A very serious matter that they have stolen this information unauthorizedly and put it on website. They have not, I think, thought through the effect that it will have. They will only have looked at it from one angle, and that is putting it across to the...
But at the same time, don't you think that the countries, the diplomats have no business doing some immoral acts? For example, now countries asking their diplomats to collect DNA fingerprints, details of people's credit cards. Now, is this diplomacy?
Certainly this is not, but this is a real world. Today, the world has become very competitive in economically,